Hello, everybody. So today is day 38. 38, you ask? So, how many days in Lent? 40. Today is day 38. Who's counting? I am. So is the church. Okay, so I'll remind us 40 days of Lent. Yesterday was Spy Wednesday, and the last day that we celebrate Mass. Well, not really. So let me say this in a better way. The last day that we go from our normal daily following of liturgy to something different. These next 3 days are our highest and holiest days, where over 3 days we celebrate one liturgy. And so tonight we celebrate Holy Thursday, where we remember what Jesus did. He celebrated the Passover with his disciples, and he instituted two things, the Eucharist and the priesthood. And so tonight we will see the mandatum rite, the washing of feet, because what Jesus did for his disciples, you and I, as followers of Jesus Christ, do for one another. And so we will see that ritualized tonight at Mass, and we consecrate the Eucharist every time we celebrate Mass. But tonight we think about the institution of the Eucharist, what Jesus did, so that every time you and I go to Mass, we can receive Jesus in the Eucharist, life-giving bread. Tomorrow, the celebration continues tonight with the procession of the Eucharist, and we leave in silence. The Mass doesn't end. So normally at the end of Mass, we have a closing prayer, not tonight. And what will happen is the Eucharist will be processed around the church and then put back on the altar so that you and I can remain and sit with Jesus the way that his disciples did in the Garden of Gethsemane. And so we end in silence and with Eucharistic adoration. And that will continue to, I believe, 10. Then tomorrow, no Mass, because we celebrate Jesus's crucifixion and death on the cross. And we do celebrate. It's a somber day, yes, but Jesus gives up his life willingly for you and me. And that's what Good Friday is all about. And so you and I have the opportunity to come back. We receive Eucharist that is consecrated on Holy Thursday. So we will have a communion service and receive Eucharist. And the main part of that is hearing the Word of God and venerating the cross. Again, we can venerate the cross because of what Jesus did on the cross. And so part of tomorrow's service will be receiving our Eucharist and then venerating the cross that Jesus died on for you and I. And then again, we leave in silence. Saturday passes in kind of a quiet waiting. There's a beautiful homily from 2nd century, I believe, that is read in the Office of Readings on Holy Saturday. And again, what you and I are waiting is for that resurrection. Imagine the disciples and what their life was like after Jesus' death, waiting, not knowing what to do. That is what our Holy Saturday is. We should allow that day to be quiet and solemn and hopeful because you and I know the story, right? So, Holy Saturday, we come back together for the third part of the Triduum. What is the Easter Vigil is the office of reading. So, what do? We come, we light the Easter fire, we light the new Paschal candle, process it into the church, and then we hear the readings of our salvation. And so we begin hearing all of those stories that remind us what God has done for us. And at the end of those readings, we then hear the gospel, the good news that Jesus has risen. And after that gospel, what do? We bring people into the church. And this year we have 31, 32, I believe. There are some young ones so I know I have 25 adults, and I know that we have young people as well. So I believe we have 31 or 32 totally coming into the church on Easter Saturday. So come and celebrate with all of us as people become Catholic. They have been preparing all since September. It probably feels like more than a year, but for them, they have been faithful and they have celebrated very, how would I say, celebrated in their hearts the desire to become Catholic, and they get that realization Saturday night. And so you and I can be there and welcome them into the church. And then all of us will receive communion together. Those coming into the church for the first time, and you and I once again. Thanks be to God for what we celebrate. Thanks be to God for the Triduum. Thanks be to God for remembering and celebrating Easter. So I will see you at a multiple number of masses this weekend. Thanks be to God. See you at church.